Hey there, and happy Tuesday. So how many of you feel like it seems like Monday again because of the holiday? So drop in the comments, tell me what you did over the long weekend. We did grad receptions, and actually I think we finished rock picking. So got out there yesterday and did that, and then because I was kind of all dirty from that, I decided to go through our grove. We still have like branches to pick up from our last windstorm and such, and so I love burning branches. Anybody else just love like starting their fire pit? Not even just to sit around, I just love seeing that smoking and burning. And then by about the time I'd fill up my Ranger again and put it in the pot, it had like disappeared from the last load and such, so it just kept burning. And then this morning I thought I'll pick up all the little pieces that fell out of my fire pit and pick up those branches and put them in, and my ashes were still super hot, so those things I put in today, even after a little bit of rain, they're still burning away. So it's always surprising how that can happen. So anyway, I am here to show you some inspiration using the Adventurous Sky suite of products, and kind of with like my disclaimer. I always like to tell you when I have a disclaimer about certain things. So I'm going to show, like, here's a green version, or the mossy meadow version, copper clay version, and I'm going to show you a night of navy version. And you might wonder, like, why are you showing me, like, especially copper clay, like that, is that retired? Well, let me just get my camera turned around and I'll start kind of going through some things, and then I think it'll make some sense. So the more things stay the same, the more things change, the more times we have to pivot, all that kind of stuff, and it's never been truer than it is right now. So Stampin' Up! Has the new, instead of the retiring list, they move it to last chance products. And so something that was moved to the last chance products is the Adventurous Sky stamp set and the dies. This is my disclaimer. The stamp set has sold out. So Adventurous Sky used to be in the catalog. Last year it had a pretty large spread of ideas and designs using that, and so I think we were kind of like, oh no, that's leaving already. So the stamp set is gone. The dies, I have some of them here. Some of them are out because I'm using them for today's card. But what I like to show, this is a card that I got as a swap a while ago. If you see this, you can use all of these dies to make your own plane. So if you love dies, like a few names come to mind instantly because I have some die lovers. Like if they could just make all of their cards out of dies and hardly even stamp, that would be like their true fun time. So if you think, well, like, how can I put a card together without the airplane or whatever, and it'll make sense too, because what I'm going to say next is the coordinating paper is carrying over. And so recently, like, they have carried over the Mediterranean blooms, this Take to the Sky that I'm going to work with today, and flowers, frames and flowers. So there's a few, not a lot, but also some of you may already have these dies and the stamp set, and you're like, oh, I just need some ideas, and this is a fun fold card. So at my last couple of classes, the card that I'm going to show you has been a favorite. And so as I prep for my next stamp camp, actually a week from today, I have good numbers for that. And so when people say, oh, I just love this card, it makes me want to allow everybody to make the card also. Hi there, Tabitha. Hi, Julie. Good to have you on here. And because of that, then I'm always like, oh, you know, I don't like, that's why I say disclaimer, I don't like showing things that you can't necessarily buy. But they have this cool paper here, as you can see this, and like even some of these sheets, how fun that they have these tags. I think of like scrapbooking if you want to like put some journaling onto that, or if you even wanted to make some cards up quick, you just have to cut out this strip, mat it, and you're good to go. So like all of these could come together as a quick card or as a scrapbook embellishment. So this is like one of the sheets here, and then all the backs are fun, but for those of you that have seen this, because I've shown this quite a while, this is still available. I just checked today just to see. The only reason it wouldn't be available is because it says low inventory, but it is an online thing, so we're never sure how long it's going to last, but it kind of is a carryover. And as I say that, then I'm like, oh, should I look in the current catalog just to make sure? Because now things are so different, because I could say carryover, meaning like online exclusive or not, but I go directly to the catalog. I'm going to see if it's in there or not. No, I don't see it in the catalog, so it is an online exclusive only. So yeah, so that's why I kind of wanted to show you today's card so that you don't fully miss out that way. And I'm thinking the next group, the card that I make today, might be something that my next group Tuesday will be doing, like I said, because so many people liked the versions of the cards. I think I did this at a class one time going this way with the same two papers, but then as I was using up scraps, I thought, oh, these airplanes are kind of sideways, so I thought, well, let's make the card orientation go this way. So this is copper clay, which that is I always say retired in color, but this cardstock is still available. The blends are still available, actually on sale. So that's kind of exciting. So you could put something together like this. And then even with the dies cut out some of the planes in the paper. So you could have that as your focal point also. And then this was kind of the same idea in another class with the Mossy Meadow. And so it's Mossy Meadow, and then I'm just using Smoky Slate for all the coloring, but just changing in the plane for all of those. So without further ado, let me show you how I put together my card. So for today's card, I'm choosing a couple of the pieces, kind of cut them into strips. So my card base is Night of Navy, like so. And then these two strips are 2 inches each by 5 1/4. So we kind of come up with that same measurement that is always, not always, but usually on the inside of my card. So usually I go 4 by 5 1/4. So this totals 4 by 5 1/4 by using it this way. So let me get some adhesive on these strips right away, and then I can get those down for you and put the card together too. So like I said, I think those that are coming would love it, and I love it because Father's Day is going to be kind of the next. We had Mother's Day this month, we had graduation this month, and so Father's Day will be next, and so that will allow people time to create their card at Stamp Camp next week and have that. And it doesn't have to be for Father's Day. I'll show you the different sentiments too. So let me get this other strip. And you can see, like on the backs, there's copper clay. This one that I put down had some Mossy Meadow and such. And so now this is ready to put down here on my card, like so. Okay, so I've got that. I got some extra stickiness there. All right, and then what I did, I was going to make the sample, and then I'm like, you know what, I don't want to run out of supplies for my class next week, because my numbers are good, like I said. So I thought, oh, instead of making the card like ahead of time to show you, I'm just going to make it from the scratch. So what I did ahead of time, because of that, is I've already cut, stamped out in the Memento Black, the big plane here, nice size plane, but like I said, that stamp, that whole set's gone. And then I've cut that out ahead of time, and then this I've stamped already too, You're the Best, plain and simple. How fun is that? The white is 2.75 by 2.75, and then the Night of Navy that I mat it on or back it with is 3 inches by 3 inches. So 2 squares doing their thing there. And actually, I can probably just put that together as well too. I'm just gonna do that and this, and then that's gonna get popped up on my card front here. So I'm just going to put dimensionals on each of the 4 corners. I'm not going to do anything in the middle because that plane is going to go in the middle, and that's going to get popped up as well, and I don't want it to get too bulky for mailing. So then this I'm just going to center like so, and then we can start coloring in with this. Sometimes I like to start with the darker colors, but for this one I am going to actually kind of start with a lighter gray, because that way if I get in trouble, I can always go over it with the darker color. I'm going to try and get my camera scooted in a little closer here so that you can see my coloring in. Right, there we go. And so like I said, for the wings and such, I'm going to do smoky slate. So I've got the dark smoky slate and the light smoky slate. And these wings are just fun to color in, because even though I've got some gray and this dark might seem kind of dark, I keep telling people, don't worry, because when it dries, it does lighten up a little bit, because sometimes it can seem a little heavy. But I'm just going to go over these wings. And then also for those that don't think that they like to necessarily do all the coloring for different projects, it actually like comes together pretty quick and easy. So the artist just kind of has these sketch marks here, and I just follow over that with the dark smoky slate, and then we're going to just fill those in here and go over it with the light. But just doing that much here. Oops, see, that's where that's going to be a color, that's going to be my navy, but I kind of get into filling in those dark lines that I kind of get carried away with that. And then this is going to be kind of the base of that spinning prop or propeller there. And let's see here, just going to go over these, and then that kind of helps guide me to know. So once I kind of get that down, then I know I can go over with my light smoky slate here, and that's going to fill in kind of everything else that way. And then I'm going to kind of hold up here, because I want the top of that propeller to kind of look like it's got some air and that you can see air through it. So I'm going to let kind of that top and bottom just be see-through, except for the addition of those marks that our artist has kind of drawn in for us to give us some action there. All right, and then I'm going to find this down here and color this in like so. And yeah, you'll have to tell me if you're coming to my class and you go, oh, you know, I don't want to make that card. Well, then that's kind of tough, but because I do want to have everybody do it. But like I said, this will be definitely like my last go around, because after that, then I'll probably be just like not wanting to use the stamps and such as much, especially when not everybody can buy the stamps, but the dies are still available, and they're actually on a sale too. Okay, so now to coordinate that pretty designer series paper, I'm just going to kind of go along these edges and fill in some of the darker areas here with my dark Night of Navy. And sometimes I get a little nervous about that, like, gosh, is that getting really dark? But there too, like I say, when it lightens up, it'll be just perfect. So I'm just going to go over a little bit of that. And then when I do the light Night of Navy, that is a beautiful color. But of course, as you know, I love blue. So that just kind of makes everything kind of brighten up a little bit too. Going to follow through with the body of the airplane coming out from that propeller motor here, like so. And I can't wait to show you the cute little propeller dies that comes with this stamp set too, so that's kind of fun. I'm going to complete that body like that. So we've got that all complete like so. So Night of Navy and Smoky Slate there. And so now this is, whoops, let me let me pop my camera back out here. Hopefully I stayed in. Sometimes I get so into my coloring that I lose track of where the image is, where my hands are, where my markers are. I think you guys could relate, and because I was gone for a while, I haven't done, like, made a card for a while for you guys live either. Okay, so let's get some dimensionals going on here. Gonna put a few on in areas where they can hide pretty easily. Get those popped up and get the backs off. And I kind of do a double check sometimes when I flip it over, like, okay, I don't see any showing, we're good. I'm going to put this at an angle like so. So that almost completes the project, but I love putting embellishments on here. And I'm going to have options at my class. One of the options is going to be the industrial trinkets. And the industrial trinkets are also on the last chance list. And they are double-sided, so I'm going to try and get the light on that. So one side has quite a neat design and the other is kind of like bumped up. And so I'm going to use the flat side to put my mini glue dots on to get a good surface to stick those on, and that's going to kind of go at an angle. But we've got lots of other fun coordinating embellishments too, because Stampin' Up! Has really come out with a lot of blue ones, which I know because I love blue. Another one I think that looks really good with this is the pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive back dots. These are also online only. The pecan would probably look decent with the copper clay, like I said. Otherwise, I've been using these, and I didn't double check these before I went live because these were on the online last chance list and also on sale, the faux glass dots. So I'm not sure if they sold out or if they're still marked down and an option for you guys. So I like how that looks with that. With the mossy metal card, I did the industrial trinkets, and so it's kind of like personal preference. I like, I think these would be really pretty to use, not the pecan pie, but the silver and white on this I think would pop off of that pretty background paper too. And then of course the propeller, we can't forget the propeller. So there is a die, and the die, I'm gonna see if I can find it here quick. Yes, here it is, my little tray. The die is actually pretty tiny, and it cuts out 2 of the propellers, which you'll want. And then I'm going to take my mini glue dots here and cut one of them in half. And so then I can take this and just kind of stick that to the half, because like I said, these are pretty tiny. So even a half one, I'm gonna kind of wanna take and kind of pull that edge back a little bit and fold it behind there. And then the other half should be stuck here like so. Okay. I don't know if you hear that noise in the background. I hear the hum of the tractor. My son's out there, so if you're wondering what is that kind of, it's like a vacuum noise or a hum, that's the tractor. My son also, that's what we celebrated this weekend, turned 30. I don't know what I think about that. It makes me feel like, gosh, that seems like he's older now, and like I should feel older and I don't, which is a good thing. But it just kind of was one of those landmarks that kind of hit me, like it's his landmark, but it hit me. So that was kind of fun to celebrate him, but still kind of weird. Okay, so how fun are those propellers? It looks like you should just be able to spin them in a fun way. And here again, like how fun to put all of these side by side. So like if you can think outside the box and go, oh yeah, I love the paper, but I know what I would do different, you know, for the front without them having the stamps, even though the dies are available. And then of course I want to finish the card by adding the inside. So let me just pull over some scratch paper, because what I'm going to do is ink up the plane again on my Memento ink pad here. And I'm just going to have that kind of, whoops, wrong side. I want it to look this way. I was going across, wrong orientation. There we go. Okay. This is going to be much better I suppose, no, that one, it just won't look right. There we go. I like the way that looks because my card's going up and down. And then, like I said, with the stamp set, when I've done my classes, You're the Best, Plain and Simple, I have a happy birthday and also happiest Father's Day, which is good. Some people need one of those. Some people don't need any. Some need more than one. So I always like to have some options. But this is kind of fun to have on there too. So I'm just gonna put this down, and that's the best part of Stampin' Up's paper. It's got two sides, you know, and so I can just cover up that plain that was going the wrong way and put that on my inside like so. All right, there you go, guys. Hi there, Diane. Good to see you. So hopefully you guys can get some fun inspiration from that, or as one person says, a coloring lesson, which is always nice. She loves the coloring lessons. I don't think I'm any expert, but it is kind of fun to see the different color combinations on the plane and just how swapping out the colors with copper clay and the mellow moss, and today I use Night of Navy. Just makes every card look a little bit different, but it all coordinates with that paper, which is still available. So like I said, Stampin' Up has said that they love the quality of the designer series paper that they can offer, and so if things like that sell well, they like to keep that around, because the Adventurous Sky Bundle with the plane here was super popular. So in their mind, they're thinking so many people already have this bundle, so if they can continue to use their bundle by having more consumable papers coming in for them to continue to buy, it's a win-win. So that's also part of the reasoning why I wanted to show that too, just so you don't lose sight and lose track of what is still available kind of in the background, even though it's not in the catalog. So there you go. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow for another video with you guys. It's hard to say because sometimes my time is not my own, and also I need to kind of stay focused on getting ready for my stamp camp next Tuesday here in my home. I do still have spots, so if you're interested, please let me know sooner than later. Thanks. Bye-bye.